Tonight, an inquest begins into the death of a teen in care.
We have a strong connection with our citizens and the survivors.
Honoring the Métis children who never came home from residential school.
Hockey and my Indigenous culture are so interwoven.
And a hockey college veteran is scanning the horizon for hockey talent. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. Canada's east coast is cleaning up after Tropical Storm Fiona slammed into the coast over the weekend. Thousands are still without power, and now the federal government has outlined the initial assistance that it is going to provide. The Prime Minister and Defence Minister say roughly 300 Canadian Armed Forces members are being deployed to Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland.
In Nova Scotia, the Canadian Armed Forces are available to clear road links and to restore electricity. On PEI, some smaller communities are isolated and tens of thousands remain without power. The Canadian Armed Forces have arrived to help remove debris from roadways and assist in the restoration of the power grid.
Our reporter Angel Moore is in Mi'kma'ki, and tomorrow we'll bring you full coverage of how the storm has impacted First Nations there. Well, the family of Devon Freeman has been waiting more than 4 years for answers. The 16-year-old died by suicide in 2017. He was found the following April just meters away from the group home that he disappeared from. The coroner's inquest into his death got underway today, and Fraser Needham has that.
The first day of the inquest took place here at the community centre on the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, about 100 kilometres northeast of Toronto. Freeman grew up in Hamilton, Ontario, and Shannon Crate is the acting direct representative of the Chippewas of Georgina Island Child Welfare, and she explained the importance of having the inquest on his home First Nation.
Although Devon lived in Hamilton, he belongs to this First Nation. He's a member of this community. He always wanted to come back here. He wanted to live here. His grandmother was raised here, and when something like this happens to any one of our members of the First Nation, it impacts all of us. It's a tragedy for all of us.
Freeman went missing from the group home he was staying in Hamilton in October 2017. He was found 6 months later, just 35 meters from the home's back door. Lawyers for the family and First Nation alleged there was a breakdown in communication between the agencies serving the teen and his First Nation. This includes the group home, Hamilton Police, and Children's Aid Society. Sarah Clark is with Clark Child and Family Law.
There was really no communication between the group home and the First Nation, or the police and the First Nation. There was some communication between Children's Aid and the First Nation, but more in a notification manner and not in a communication for the purposes of helping or planning or supporting. And I think, it's really critical that First Nations be a part of planning when they're dealing with children in the system, because they have insight and information that mainstream organizations don't have.
The purpose of a coroner's inquest is not to find criminal liability or assign blame, but to make recommendations so similar deaths may be avoided in the future. The rest of the inquest will be held in Hamilton. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Georgina Island.
Thanks, Fraser. We want to hear what you think about that story or any of the stories that we bring you, or the ones that we should be bringing you. Here's how you can reach us. Send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can leave a comment on aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Follow APTN News and join the conversation, and see all of our latest stories. The first long-term care facility in a First Nation community in Quebec recently opened its doors, but it took 16 years of planning and plenty of challenges before the Huron-Wendat elders of Wendake were able to celebrate its grand opening. Here's the story by Shushan Bacon, translated and voiced by Lindsay Richardson.
After 16 years of planning, the first resident of Wendake's new elder care facility is making her grand entrance. But not every family had the same honor.
C'est arrivé tellement subitement, tu sais. Elle prenait juste du mieux. On faisait des FaceTime avec elle, elle allait bien.
France Gros-Louis Morin lost her mother to Alzheimer's 10 days before the grand opening.
Ah ben, ma mère avec un requin.
Alice Gros-Louis lived in a transitional residence while waiting for a permanent bed in long-term care. As her daughter explains, the whole family was looking forward to having Mamie closer to home.
Ma fille, il y a quoi être sage Elle s'est informée s'il y avait des racks à vélo parce qu'elle fait l'école à la maison. Puis tous les après-midi, elle est libre, elle n'a pas d'école. Puis elle s'est informée s'il y avait des racks à vélo parce qu'elle voulait aller voir sa grand-mère régulièrement.
Back in 2006, Wendogue, a community just outside Quebec City, decided to set the gears in motion to open a long-term care home for its elders. For Renee Picard, who works on Wendogue Council, the idea of transferring Huron-Wendat elders into the Quebec Public Health Network became unacceptable, but it was difficult to secure government funding for an elder care facility, quote-unquote, on reserve.
C'était pas évident parce qu'il y a eu les questions de juridiction fédérale provinciale. Là, ça a été là, je te dirais, durant tout le parcours jusqu'en 2018, là, lorsque ça a été dédouané par le ministre. Là.
They initially hoped to open in 2010.
Vous savez, pour moi, il n'y a rien de plus précieux, de plus riche que nos aînés.
Council Chief Dave Laveau, who handles health and well-being for Wendogue, says financing aside, staffing shortages caused their own set of issues, as did concern for the elders.
La plupart des experts en médecine nous avaient dit c'est pas nécessairement conseillé de déplacer un membre des Premières Nations, peu importe, qui est déjà dans un autre CHSLD et le changer de milieu. Souvent, ça va avoir des impacts cognitifs.
The new elder care facility operates on a sliding scale, allowing residents to pay for lodgings according to their income. Laveau says its services are also culturally adapted. 24 residents are expected to move in the coming weeks at a rate of 1 resident a day. For France Gros-Louis, it's a bittersweet occasion. She knows how much it would have meant to see her mother come home for good.
Quelque chose d'imprévisible, là, une hémorragie interne des voies digestives, fait qu'elle n'aura jamais eu le temps de boire son mousseux. Fait que, je le garde genre pour l'occasion, puis on le boira à sa santé.
At the very least, Gros-Louis finds solace in the fact that other residents of Wendogue will get the chance to be close to their loved ones during the twilight of their lives. A story by Shushan Bacon, APTN National News, Wendogue, Quebec.
We need to take a break, but coming up, funding is announced for the Métis to find students who never came home from residential schools.
We need to really be able to communicate with the survivors to find out what their needs are, and to bring back the spirit and the remains of children that are found that belong to the Métis community.
A new cultural gathering center was unveiled at Métis Crossing in Alberta. Hundreds gathered to celebrate the facility. Our Chris Stewart was there.
Leaders and dignitaries arrived by canoe and by cart at the massive 688 acres that make up Métis Crossing on Sunday. They came to celebrate the official opening of the Cultural Gathering Center and Lodge. The 40-room lodge looks over the North Saskatchewan River, where the Métis people used to travel and trade. The center will offer Métis cultural learning and be a unique place for business events and tourism. Winita Marwa is the CEO of Métis Crossing.
We host weddings and family reunions. We've hosted our own annual General Assembly. We are a fantastic place for corporate and government retreats. There is not a better place to come and spend 3 days to dig into the Métis culture.
Marwa says the 2 buildings cost about $20 million, funded by the federal and provincial governments and businesses, and the elbow grease of a lot of an entire community.
It's been an honor and a privilege to lead this project, to take all of the contributions of our elders and our knowledge holders, our artisans, our business people, our youth, to put it together into something like this, which is now available to share with the world. And it's really a place of pride for Métis people.
The center was completed in December of 2019, but COVID prevented its use until this summer. And more additions are coming. A large solar project will be operational next fall. Métis Nation of Alberta President Audrey Portra says now it's finally time to celebrate.
So it has been a long time, and not that people haven't tried. Whenever we have functions like this, I think about those leaders of the past because they may not have had anywhere close to the opportunities we have today, but they never give up. They kept trying. They kept trying.
The nearby town of Smoky Lake declared it Métis Crossing Day. Guests enjoyed bison burgers and took in the scenery. Métis National Council President Cassidy Caron says the new additions are a great addition to Métis Crossing.
These spaces, you know, it weaves together so much. It weaves together economic development. It weaves together culture and education. It weaves together solutions to climate change with the solar projects that are taking place here. And, you know, it's such an incredible place that we can come together with our elders who have dreamed of a space like this.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Métis Crossing, Alberta.
The Crown Indigenous Relations Department will provide $1.4 million to the Manitoba Métis Federation for their Bringing Our Children's Spirit Home initiative. This project, of course, aims to identify, remember, and honor Métis children who went to residential schools, especially those who never made it home. Andrew Carrier will assist a survivors committee responsible for gathering knowledge, researching archival records, community engagement, and commemoration plans for those children.
We have a strong connection with our citizens and the survivors, and so we need to really be able to communicate with the survivors to find out what their needs are, and to bring back the spirit and the remains of children that are found that belong to the Métis community.
With September 30th coming up this Friday, we are asking folks what the significance of the day means to them. Daryl Stranger spoke with Manitoba Métis Federation President David Chartrand about the upcoming National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Here's that conversation.
President Chartrand, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to speak with us about this.
Thank you, Daryl.
So, why is having this National Day for Truth and Reconciliation so important?
Well, you know, it's important to reflect on the history, because history always tells us and teaches us what we should all know or need to know to understand. So history is essential for us to reflect on. And I think where there's starting to be challenges on this particular day of September 30th, I see, Daryl, as a kind of a political divide that's happening between political lines, political parties. Like if you look at the provinces, you would think they would just roll out the red carpet to all work together and say, okay, look, we all understand this. This is not to lay blame on anyone. This is to understand history and understand from history, how do we go forward? We can't change the past, but we can change the future. So September 30th is essential. I just came back from LA a week ago. LA removed Columbus Day, for example, Los Angeles, and so the city council, and now it's called Indigenous Day. And we're sending a group of dancers there, square dancers and fiddlers on October 11th, I believe. And so you look at it, there's a movement abroad, and I think Canada can be the leader in this, but provinces need to come on board.
And I wanted to ask about the Pope's visit earlier this past summer. How significant was it that he came and apologized here on Canadian soil?
Well, without question. You know, he could have easily apologized from the Vatican. But he made a promise to all of us that he'd come here. When I had a chance to speak with him directly, he said that he would be coming to our country and to do the right thing, start the healing. I told him point blank, your attendance in our soil, in our lands, will really begin the true healing that needs to take place. And so he kept his word. Although with the ailments and so forth, he still came. And I think it really resonated to a change that we're starting to feel it, see it. As I said before, after 6 days, he's going back overseas, back to the Vatican. We need, as leaders now, to take responsibility. How do we move forward? How do we begin the healing? How do we work together to achieve that our people can count on Indigenous governments and count on this country that we're going in the right direction?
And a little on that topic, we have a National Day for Truth and Reconciliation now, but what else can be done or needs to be done moving forward?
Well, I think we need to start right from the schools again. We've got to go back right to the children, K to 12. And we need to start beginning to tell the story there. We're opening daycare centers right across Manitoba. We opened 7 now, it's official one yesterday. We'll open about 15 or 16 of them in the province. We'll have a chance there to talk to the children educating them at the same time about history and teaching them what has happened to our people. Why is it we struggle so hard? Why are we living in the most impoverished areas in the province? Why are we living in swamps? Why are we not living in robust territory where we can economically do a magic with our economic strengths? We're entrepreneurs. But yet, why do we live where we live? And it's important to understand that the history should teach us that we have ways to go to correct a century and more than a century of bad decisions that really hindered our future. So we got to start the school system. That's where we got to start, and we can't be afraid of it. And I hope non-Indigenous people understand this from me and from my people, from the Métis Red River. We're not laying blame. What we're saying, history has done things that weren't right. But now let's fix it going forward. So don't look at this as blame. Look at this as coming together, working together as one Canada.
And President Chartrand, how will you be spending the day on September 30th?
Well, September 30th is a day to reflect upon what took place. As we do, you know, the graves, for example, that were found really resonated itself. If the graves were not found, would it have had the same impact? I don't know. We can all be critics or debate the issue all over. I think when the mass graves were found, it truly touched non-Indigenous Canadians and touched the world. And I think that's what really triggered the response we're getting across the world right now. And we need to keep that going. And as I said, we can't be afraid of it. Yes, a lot of wrongs were done, a lot of pain. I'm sure there was a lot of suffering that we can all relate to and reflect upon. But we need to figure out how do we get the next generation ready for that we can help them heal. Because the struggles they face there comes from that history. And there's no one, I don't care how many degrees they have in a wall, can ever say different. Because truly, suffering of Indigenous people today come with the history that was done to us. And now we need to figure out how do we get beyond that. And we're ready. We want to go as entrepreneurs. We want to start building, using our economic engines, education to really make a robust Métis Red River Nation strong and prominent. And don't look at us as social problems. Look at us as economic solutions. And I think you'll see a better Canada, and you'll see a community that can begin to heal themselves without worrying about whether federal funds are there or not, or provincial funds. We can take care of ourselves. We just need the opportunity, and people can't be afraid of healing. And September 30th, I plead to all Canadians, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. Let's take the learning that history is teaching us and say, how do we go forward together as Canadians?
All right, President Chartrand, we certainly appreciate your thoughts and words on September 30th. We'll have to leave it there, but again, thank you for taking a few minutes with us today.
Thank you, Joe.
Smart words there. We will have coverage all week as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation nears. Be sure to tune in to our special coverage before and after the national event organized by APTN and the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation to mark the day this Friday. Well, we have to take another break, but then a dream come true for one Indigenous hockey scout.
I feel like I've been dreaming for the last week, and it's a dream that I hopefully don't wake up from.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Well, we don't have many of these days left. The sun gets to set on a beautiful green prairie landscape near Russell, Manitoba. Thanks for the great picture there, Liza. You can email your photos to share at aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast. To the east coast, we got 20 and showers for St. John's, 20 and cloud for Charlottetown. Kuujjuaq, sunshine, 11 degrees. Nain, showers and 10. Saguenay, 16 and showers. Same with Saint Jovite and Montreal. 13 and some showers for North Bay. 9 and showers for Sault Ste. Marie. 7 and showers for Kapuskasing. Thunder Bay, 10 with a mix of sun and cloud. Sunshine for Puckatawagan, 16 degrees. Churchill, 9 and sunshine. 15 and sunny for Winnipeg. 18 and sunshine for Dauphin. 27 and sunny for Swift Current. Yorkton, 21 and sunny skies. Mix of sun and cloud for Buffalo Narrows, 21 degrees there. And showers for Stony Rapids and 17 degrees. Grand Prairie, 26 and sunny skies for Chip, 22. Sunny there as well. 28 and sunshine for Edmonton. That's some nice fall weather. 29 and sunny for Medicine Hat. 29 and sunny for Penticton and Kamloops. Bella Coola, 23 and sunshine. 17 and showers in D-Slick. Smithers, showers and 20. 7 and sunshine for Dawson City. Rock River, 0 with some flurries maybe. Fort Simpson, 21 and sunny skies. Wati and Yellowknife, both sunshine and 19. Snow for Inuvik and 1 degree. Snow for Tuktoyaktuk and -1. New Yacht, mix of sun and cloud, 1 degrees. Arviat, mix of sun and cloud for you as well. 8 though. -2 in Igloolik. Kenite, 0 with mix of sun and cloud. A Cree woman from Saskatchewan is the first from Treaty 6 territory to be hired as a scout for an NHL team. Sydney Daniels was hired by the Winnipeg Jets last week. In a media conference, she told reporters how she plans to put her new role to use. Tamara Pimentel has that.
For Sydney Daniels of Mistawasis, Nihayawak, her first week as a scout for an NHL team has been like a dream.
Right now, as I sit in the Jets office, I'm still trying to pinch myself. I feel like I've been dreaming for the last week, and it's a dream that I hopefully don't wake up from, and I imagine I won't, just because, I'm so grateful to be here.
Before being hired by the Jets, the 27-year-old played for the Harvard Crimson women's hockey team, where she later became assistant coach in 2018. Daniels had her first media availability on Monday over Zoom, where Saskatoon Tribal Council Chief Mark Arcand
just because I said it earlier, it's a male-dominated sport, and to have one of our own people, at the top is really opening up the doors for all of our younger people and the next generation to come.
Danielle says she looks to Bridget Laquette, who was the first First Nations woman to play hockey for Canada in the Olympic Games.
I have to give so much credit to, and I am so thankful for, Bridget Laquette being a trailblazer for, Indigenous women to break the barrier and break into the NHL.
She says she hopes to inspire Indigenous youth with her new role.
I love hockey. I'm so passionate about hockey and the game, and I've learned it from my father, who, learned it from my grandfather, who was in residential school. So hockey and my Indigenous culture are so interwoven.
Tamara Pimentel, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Well, we are certainly proud of you, Sydney. Before we leave you tonight, the James Webb Space Telescope has captured the clearest view yet of the solar system's outermost planet, Neptune. NASA has just released images which were taken in July. They not only show Neptune's thin rings, but its faint dust bands, which were seen in the infrared. This powerful telescope also captured 7 of Neptune's moons. I didn't know Neptune had 14 moons. Well, that is a wrap on your national Indigenous news to kick off the week. I'm Melissa Ridgen. We're always so glad that you could join us. Don't forget, if you've missed anything recently, check out aptnnews.ca. We will be back here tomorrow, and we will have full coverage of the effect of Fiona in Mi'kmaq territory out on the East Coast. Angel Moore will bring you that. Until then, take care. Have a great night.